G'day, hey, hi, and welcome. All right, this is another one of those voiceovers again. Okay, this topic is kind of an interesting topic. It's just something for people to be mindful of. Again, I'm not an expert rider, but I do have a little bit of time in the saddle. I don't have enough time in the saddle of this specific bike, but over the years, again, like I say, I've got about 130,000 miles on the road, and there's things that I've learned. I had some friends of mine. Remember one of my friends. Lord Thunder and Jesus, I miss him. He's a Newfoundlander, right? And when he got his bike, he had a lot of problems at the beginning. He was getting cut off by everybody. It's like, oh my God, people are so bad. And then I rode with him a few times, and more than a few times, we rode with each other all the time. And I said, oh, you need to back it off a bit. You're not giving yourself enough space. And when he started doing what I told him to do, his riding experience not only became safer, but a lot better. And we do have yes, a lot of bad drivers on the road. There's no doubt about that. But there's also a lot of hothead bikers on the road too that are a little, they don't know when to say when, so to speak. And I gotta love this corner. Sorry, I just noticed that I was really hanging in that corner. That was good. That's fun. The thing is giving yourself adequate time, and this is where the law of threes come in. The law of 3 seconds, to be specific. Now, when you typically are on a motorcycle, okay, almost all your input is going to be coming in from visual, meaning 95% of all the decisions you made are based upon a visual thing. So you might, like the road conditions. Okay, well, you can feel the road under your the tires. You can feel the road under your tires, and you might make decisions. Oh, hey, this road's a bit greasy, even if it's a nice dry day like this. Okay, it's a bit divotty, it's a bit potholey, it's a bit, like the stuff I'm riding on here. You can't really see it, but some of the areas are just atrocious. So the road becomes a bit greasy, and you take that into account. But the first thing that's going to alert you that the road is probably going to be a harsh surface is you see it. And the same with traffic, you see it. So they say it takes about 2 to 3 seconds for things to register, to recognize things. So this is where foresight becomes a bit of an art form for us riders, where you have to learn to anticipate things going awry on you. For example, you're riding along and all of a sudden there's a deer. You might not have 3 seconds to acknowledge. You'll probably hit the deer before you acknowledge. Your brain will allow you to respond to a deer. So you might see the deer right away, but by the time you respond to it, he's already riding in your lap, and that's usually going to give you a really bad day. So the thing is that the law of 3 seconds. So usually what I'd find with a lot of guys that complain about how they get cut off all the time in traffic and stuff like that. And for me, okay, yes, I haven't had this bike in the downtown traffic yet, but there's a way to approach downtown traffic versus open highway. Open highway, if you can see both sides of the road, that type of thing, and you basically, have a clear, good paved road and stuff like that, you can sing along a little bit faster and whatever and enjoy yourself. But when you can't see clearly what's coming out of the bush or out of the ditch or whatever, or blind laneways, or you got trees over the road, and, or blind curves or whatever it might be, you have to anticipate that something bad might be coming around the corner, such as the dreaded coming over the hill top on a curve, and you have the I forget what I was waving at there, but might have been a skunk that went by or something. Woohoo, stink. But anyway, you coming over the hilltop, and there's the dreaded tractor with the hay wagon behind it. And yes, that has happened to me several times. Again, am I an expert rider? No, I don't look at it as expert rider. I look at it as making good decisions or bad decisions. Whether you're a new rider or an experienced rider. Experienced riders tend to make better decisions because they've learned the hard way, or they've experienced things or learned from other people's experiences. So the law of 3 seconds. So usually a safe following distance should be maintained 2 to 3 seconds. I say go to 3 seconds. 3 seconds will give you time to acknowledge a problem and to respond. So usually responses are about 3 seconds. For example, if I'm doing 100 kilometers an hour and I grab a fistful of brakes. Again, on this bike, you got dual disc up front and a disc in the back. You have you basically got race car brakes on a on a 400-pound machine, right? So it's going to stop pretty fast, but it still might take you from 100 kilometers an hour. I've already did my hard braking test, what called panic braking or emergency braking, and I can bring this thing to a stop in about 3 seconds without locking anything up. So that's a safe. So I want 3 seconds to stop at least, but why not give myself 6 seconds in the sense of give the guy ahead of me 3 seconds. Let's say the guy ahead of me, I don't know, jams on his brakes. Well, I got 3 seconds to stop. It's probably going to take him 3 or 4 seconds to stop. I can stop faster than him. That's great from the time I acknowledge there's a problem. So the more time you give yourself, the safer you're going to be. It's harder to do in traffic because people tailgate. The biggest problem guys have in traffic on bikes is they get rear-ended because they stop too fast and they don't realize it. They blame the driver is kind of at fault, but he's kind of not, because the driver, he doesn't realize you can stop on a dime half the time. He knows you can stop faster, but he doesn't realize what that means. Like he's not going to stop in under 100 feet like you can. You know, so you have that. So you have to make up for him behind you. You can't control who's ahead of you, but you can kind of semi-control who's behind you. The best thing to do is just do the speed limit, let everybody else do the, get up way ahead. Now, when you put a gap between you and the vehicle ahead of you, the problem you run into is that once you open up a space, people tend to like to squeeze in. Let them squeeze in. Let them squeeze in. It's not going to put you in any more danger, but then compensate for it. So give yourself an extra 3 seconds. Know how long. Maybe it takes you 4 seconds to stop your bike from 100 kilometers an hour. Maybe you have a passenger. That's going to increase your stopping time. Maybe you need 5 seconds. So again, in the traffic, it's a little harder, but if you're going faster, a lot of times following the traffic means you're speeding. So there you have an option. You can slow down. Now, if you start brake checking everybody that's behind you and tailgating you, like I'll be on an open highway like this, and people still have the need in their F-150s to zoom up 30 feet behind me. They're not giving themselves enough distance to stop if I have to jam on the brakes. So I have to, I'm not going to put my life in their hands in that sense and say, well, you're in the wrong. I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to give myself 6 seconds to stop. I'm going to give myself 8 seconds to stop. Whatever it is. And the easiest way to do it, and you're going to be surprised how well this is going to work. If you do the speed limit, everybody else races up ahead of you 9 times out of 10. The traffic's going to be way ahead of you. And then you got room for yourself. But if you don't, and again, you got a guy tailgating the back of you, you got to compensate for him. You got to compensate for him. So, let's say you pass that hydro pole or the next hydro pole. Okay, the guy ahead of you, he passes the hydro pole. And if you count to 3 before you pass that same spot that he passes, then you're probably in a fairly safe spot. But if you're going to be basically going to, I don't know, again, you want to keep it so that you give yourself enough time. So count 3, see how far, know your stopping distances from different speeds, etc., and then make the account that it takes about 3 seconds to acknowledge there's a problem, and then you need about 3 seconds to react. So 6 seconds. All right. So anyway, be safe. Have yourselves a great day.